Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Going to be a little bit of a crazy one today. Hopefully you'll forgive me. It wasn't supposed to start raining until about noon today, and I haven't had my coffee. Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Little crazy one today. It wasn't supposed to start raining until noon. We've got Hurricane Helene coming in on us, and it's supposed to rain for about 3 days. But I'd like you to welcome the newest member of the family. This is Mini Me. I call him that because of the color, and it is a Range Rover Sport HSE TD6, just like my full-size Vogue. That's part of the reason that we bought it, is same engine, same transmission. So I know how to work on much of it. It's called Scotia Gray, but it's got a hint of blue-green to it. Don't know if that shows up on the camera, but it really stands out amongst other gray and silver cars, so I really like that. We're going to do a quick walk around, and then we'll get in and go for a drive. This is pre-facelift, as you can tell by the oval DRLs, just like the L405. It has a 2-slat grille instead of a 3-slat grille, which is one of the ways that you can tell what it is coming at you. The shapes are very similar. It's hard, unless you're a true Range Rover sycophant. It is hard to tell when they're coming at you. The grills on the bonnet are completely useless. They're just there as a design element, as are the gills on the side. It has the side repeater up in the mirror, just like the L405, and it does have keyless entry. Being in the South, we have the privacy glass. Really helps keep the temperature down. 20-inch alloys. Now, this came axle matched. It did not come matching tires all the way around. The dealership that I bought it from put these Michelins on the back. I think the Goodyears on the front were the original, what was originally on it. Is the North American tow package. A little hard to see. This has the kick to open feature, where you just wave your foot underneath the corner, and you can see that the boot opens. It is a single hatch rather than the split tailgate of the L405. For this size car, it's a fairly spacious boot. The spoiler on the back gives it a nice raked look, makes it look even sportier, and it helps hide the rear wiper. So this is the second generation of the Range Rover Sport. The first generation, the L320, ran from I think it was 2005 to 2013. That one was really a dressed up Discovery 3. It was built on the same platform as a Discovery 3. Just a different body on the frame and chassis. There's a lot of Range Rover purists out there that say that because it was built on the Disco platform that it wasn't a true Range Rover, and they say it wasn't sporty. My wife had a 2011 autobiography with the supercharged V8. I think that thing produced 510 horsepower and something crazy, 462-ish pound-feet of torque. And I can't really speak to the Range Rover-ness, but I can certainly speak to the fact that it was sporty. Everybody's out walking before the hurricane. Everybody walks down here because this is one of the few flat roads that we have in our area. Atlanta's generally in the foothills of the Appalachians. We have rolling hills, and this is a nice flat spot to walk. The interior is this wonderful light color with the dark accents. I believe that they call it Oxford. The dash and carpet are all a rich brown color called espresso. I think it's a great color combination. The steering wheel on this is almost identical to my L405, with the exception that it has no paddle shifters, which seems a little bit odd to me in a Sport. The dash binnacle is different. It's got the analog speedometer and tach, but the center menu has a lot of the same information or features that the L405 has. And one thing I did, this has the auto high beam on, One of the first things that I did when I bought the L405 was turn those off, and on this one I just never got around to turning it off. They actually work really well, and so I've ended up turning that feature on the L405. This was a trade-in, so we actually got 2 keys. This is obviously only one of them. We got 2 keys, although one of them looked like it had been either stomped on or run over. The entire corner was crushed, so I've swapped that out with a new one from Gary up at Atlantic British, and I'll put a link to that video. It's the L405, but it's the same key. So the infotainment center is the same as the L405. Now it is only loaded up with the features that come on this particular model, and like there's no ambient lighting because it doesn't have ambient lighting. Now it does have the park assist, which is a nice plus. I never use it, but it's kind of cool to have. And it has one single large glove box. The top glove box does not exist in these. It's got the sliding pano roof. The climate controls are all buttons, which I prefer. So you can turn on the heated or cooled seats. Down here, having swapped out Donna's spinny knob for an L494 lever, all this feels very familiar. This does have the tilt. I still think this is a great area for chrome catching. It has the same 2.5, 2.25 cup holders in here. I don't know if this is meant for a shot glass or espresso or what, but odd little space in the center. While this does have Land Rover's terrain response system, without a low range, you're missing some of the icons and some of the features. With the big button pushed in, it's in auto mode. If you pop it out, you get general driving, and then grass, gravel, snow. Next one over is mud and ruts, and then the final one on this one is sand. It's missing the rock crawl mode, but without a low range, you're not going to be rock crawling. This does still have hill descent control, as well as traction control that you can turn off. It has 3 height ranges, so it has access height, normal height, and off-road height, as well as the Spawn of Satan automatic speed limiter. Same electric parking brake. Underneath here, I didn't notice this when I did my test drive, but it has the refrigerator in it, the George Jones edition refrigerator. Now that isn't gonna take a warm beer to icy cold, but if you stick some water bottles or juice boxes in there out of the fridge, it will keep them nice and cool. As you can see, the middle seat is kind of cramped for a fat man. With this set to the normal driving position, my knees are pretty much right up against this seat. I kind of feel like I'm in the middle seat on Delta flying back from Memphis. The rear seats do recline. It is a manual recline, and they also fold forward. But the L494 suffers from the same issue that the L405 does. The headrest fouls the back of the seat, and so you've got to scoot it all the way forward in order to get it to fold flat. So even though this is a good-sized boot, they say that this can be had with a 3-row version. Lord knows where you would put it. I'm guessing that the spare tire goes away. We've got the rubber floor mat, which I think is essential. Now this one's a little bit dirty. We need to pull it out and clean it. It came with the car, which is nice. I did have to purchase the load space cover. Came off of eBay, and it definitely needs a clean. Pretty good sized boot though. I think you can haul a fair amount in here. So the cockpit in this thing certainly is smaller. It feels like it kind of wraps around you. You feel like you are piloting a fighter jet as opposed to piloting an ocean liner in the L405. The suspension is tighter. The steering's a little bit tighter. You're strapped in for the dogfight to come. The TD6 has plenty of low-end grunt. Even with all that performance, we got almost 28 miles to the gallon coming home from Auburn's dreadful performance against Suey Pig. And that 28 miles per gallon included sitting on I-285 for probably 30 minutes while they did road work. So Jackson bought this, but we took delivery here in Atlanta. And I've done probably about 500 miles so far. Think of it as a sea trial. Anytime you buy anything used, you don't know really what you're getting. I mean, you can look over the Carfax, you can do your research, but you 100% you don't know what you're getting. Really, you don't know what you're getting with a new car either these days. For Jackson's mama's peace of mind, I've done a couple of maintenance items to it. Under the bonnet, I changed out the air filter, and in here the cabin air filter. While I was under there, I also changed out I topped up the windshield washer fluid and topped up the DEF. I bought Jackson a couple of the official bottles, the no-spill bottles of AdBlue, and as little as he drives, I think that should probably last him about a year or so. When he comes home for Christmas, which is only a couple months away, we'll probably change the engine oil. It was changed, I want to say 500 miles ago, and I like to do it on the fives. So right now this is at about 83,000. In a couple thousand miles, when it hits 85, we'll do the oil change, and so that's why I didn't do it right now. So like the L405, they have moved the latch to under the in the center. In the L322, I'm not sure about the L320. The V used to point at where you would open it. Under the bonnet, looks very similar to the L405, which is one of the reasons that I bought it. Same engine, same transmission, so I know how to work on much of it. Same as the L405, it has the suction tube for oil changes, and it, of course, does not have a dipstick to check the oil level, so you have to do it through the dash. Underneath the car, we did a service for both differentials, the transmission, and the transfer box. I've got videos on those, so look for links. It may take me a little bit to get them up. Kind of depends on if we have power the next couple of days. It's beautiful right now. This is kind of the calm before the storm, I guess. This had some, I'm not going to call them electrical issues, but like none of the charging ports in the center console worked. This thing uses micro fuses, not mini fuses, but micro fuses. I'll put a picture of the difference of the two. Mini-Me seems to have an issue with the auto start stop, so I swapped the voltage quality modules. I took this one, stuck it in Donna, took Donna's, stuck it in here. Still have the start stop on this doesn't seem to be active, and and Donna still works. So more Googling to come on that. As a preventative measure, I drilled a little hole in the compressor exhaust. His is not having the gallery pressure issue, but just I didn't want to hear about it, so I went ahead and pre-drilled the hole. While I was underneath servicing the transfer box, I noticed that one of the hoses for the differential pressure sensor in the exhaust system was torn in half. How the thing was not throwing constant errors, I don't know, but replace that, and so it should be good to go. On the Carfax, this said that it had the engine replaced at about 67,000 miles, so what is that, about 15,000 miles ago. Now, I don't know if it was a new engine or just a replacement engine, so I'm not 100% sure how many miles are on this engine. It's somewhere between 15,000 and a million. But I gotta say, everything underneath looks real clean. No oil drips, no corrosion. So I think the engine that they put in it also came out of a Southern truck. 8 years ago, when this car was new, it went for about 83 grand. Granted, it's got 83,000 miles on it, but we got it for less than 19. And to me, less than 19 grand is a, you know, this is a lot of car for under 19 grand. The in order to get a Jeep Grand Cherokee with this trim level, we're kind of an SUV family, so those were sort of the two choices. In order to get a Jeep Grand Cherokee with this trim level and all these features, you'd have to spend well over 30. Talking, you know, apples for apples in terms of mileage and engine size and fuel economy and everything else. So it to me it was kind of a no-brainer. The operating costs on this are obviously more than a Jeep Grand Cherokee, but I know how to work on it and I love them. So I think we bought this thing right. We will stay on top of the maintenance, and I think with that Jackson will have years of worry-free motoring in a very nice car. So I think that's about going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you learned something, leave me a comment. I beg for comments all the time. You know, it kind of lets me know that you're actually engaged with it. We're up to, I think, 183 subscribers, which is unbelievable, but let's try to get to 200. So if you've got a friend that enjoys Range Rover or grilling videos or Jeep videos, you know, let them know about my channel. Let's get to 200. So I think that's about it for this one. My time is up. I thank you for yours. We'll see you on the next one, YouTube.